Okay, so first, why do we need to save and invest? To start, how about getting off what we call the debt cycle? Too many of us spend more than what we earn. Okay, you know what we're talking about? We work hard every day. We wait for that next paycheck, and when we get the money from our salaries, what do? We go straight to eating out, we go straight to shopping, we go straight to watching movies. And then come month end, that's when we find we have to pay our utilities, our cell phone bills, our electricity, our water, no? And before the next paycheck comes, we find ourselves without any savings. But it doesn't end there. With the emergence of online commerce apps like Shopee, Lazada, and Zalora, it has become even harder to save money. It seems like every day there's a sale going on in the app. There was the 7/7 sale. I think there will be an 8/8 sale. And the next month, there will be the September 9 sale. So, and then we all get enticed to buy using our credit cards. Before we know it, our net cash position is negative before we get even to the next paycheck. That is what we call the debt cycle. Bago pa magkasweldo sa susunod na buwan, baon na tayo sa utang. And this was confirmed in a 2014 study done by the BSP when asked where are we right now? Okay. Most of us, 61% of Filipino respondents said that whatever they earn, it goes straight, or 100% of what we earn goes all into our spendings. After that, 33% of the respondents, one out of three people said they actually spend more than what they earn. Mas malaki po ang ginagastos kasi sa kinikita. And about 6% said they are able to save a little bit, no? So they are able to set aside money, put it into their savings, and budget their expenses. Okay. What we are saying is really, or what we want to ask really is, where are you right now? Okay, just a little reflection for everyone. Where do we fall in this pie chart? And the next question is, where do we want to be? I think by attending this seminar, all 75 of us here, 76 of us here, we all want to be able to save money. So we all want to be part of the blue area of the pie chart. In other words, what we are saying is, it's not how much or how little you are earning. You start to become wealthy when you manage spending. Ayan. It's not how much or how little you are earning. You start to become wealthy when you manage spending. We have to master maximizing savings and minimize unnecessary spending before we can start investing. So, how do we maximize savings and manage spending? We suggest to follow this simple process. After receiving income, instead of spending right away, we suggest to set aside a portion of your income, okay, and work within the remaining funds for the budget. Madalas ito ang gawain ng Pilipino. Pagkasweldo, gastos kagad at kung may matira, yun yung iipunin. But what we don't realize is when we do this, our expense, what we spend, becomes another person's income. So I'd like to ask everyone here, why is it that other people will receive our income before we receive it ourselves? We have to pay ourselves first. Our income is our employer paying us, and our savings is us paying ourselves. So we suggest to follow this equation, no? From our income, set aside first a portion, and then the remaining funds work within your budget. How much do we suggest you set aside for savings? We suggest to set aside up to 30% for your savings, okay? And then the 70% remaining funds, that's what you work with for your budget for the month, okay? If you cannot do 30%, if you can only do 20%, if you can only do 10%, that is fine. What is important is you build a habit so that when your income increases, okay, you already have the good habit of saving, all right? So there, remember this equation? This is your basic finance equation to make sure that money goes into our pockets instead of going it out. But sadly, no, sadly, saving only takes us so far. As we save, there is an invisible force working against us. That invisible force is what we call inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is the rate at which prices of goods and services increase. Ayan, tumataas po yung presyo ng mga bilihin natin. And when the prices of goods and services like food, electricity, water, no, as gasoline, ganyan, as those prices go up, our ability to buy the same amount, our purchasing power goes down. Okay? The term inflation may be unfamiliar to Filipinos, but we all have felt it. Take rice, for example. Back then, maybe 10 years ago, let's say a 500 peso bill could afford to buy 5 sacks of rice. Halimbawa lang po, no? By now, 10 years later, we are looking at an updated 500 peso bill with added security features. You'll notice the stripe and the BSP seal, no? But aside from that, you're looking at a happier Ninoy Aquino. And he's probably happier because may kasama na po siya dyan. Kasama na po ni Jan is his wife, si Madam Cory Aquino as well. No? But despite a happier and brighter 500 peso bill, that same value, 500 pesos, can maybe afford to buy us just 1 sack of rice na lang instead of 3, no? So that is the effect of inflation. Who knows, maybe 10 years later, okay, our 500 peso bill will look like this, punong-puno na po ng mga Aquino, all happy, and yet, okay, we may no longer be able to use that same 500 peso bill to buy 3 sacks or 1 sack of rice, baka 1 cup of rice na siya by 2030. Just a light joke, no? I'm not saying the Aquinos are responsible for inflation. Okay, it's just a joke. But what is a serious matter is how inflation affects us all. All right. Savings only takes us so far, but it is actually investing that can potentially help us reach our goals the way savings can't. Ayan. What is investing? It's time to ask the question now, what is investing? Simply put, no, investing is a process. Okay. Investing is a process of buying assets. In the same way that spending is the process of buying stuff. Okay. What are assets? You may be thinking. Assets are basically property or anything with value na may halaga. These things that you may buy with value are assets if they appreciate in value over time. Something that may be worth more in the future than today. And in doing so, in buying assets and following this process, you are making your money make you more money. Ayan. Okay, let me repeat that. In buying assets, in investing, okay, you work smarter because you are making your money making you more money. Stocks are one of many assets that are available to investors. A stock refers to ownership in a business. Okay, so when they say take stock, take ownership of a business, in a project, okay, take hold of it. That's what stocks mean. That's what stocks refers to. Okay, so when you say stock investing, it is basically the process of buying this asset, which are stocks. No, very, very simple. In other words, when you invest money in stocks, now when you buy stocks, what you are doing is you are giving yourself the opportunity to own a business, because again, stocks refer to ownership of the business. You're giving yourself the opportunity to own the business without necessarily having to run the business. Ayan. If you have capital, but you do not have the expertise to run, let's say, a grocery store, or if you don't have the expertise to run a water business or water concessionaire or or a bank, no, or something as complicated as a holdings company, or something like a food business, food manufacturing business, no, you can still own it with capital. But by investing in stocks, okay, you will have to, or you don't have to run it. When you buy stocks, you are basically putting your money to the principal drivers of the economy. At some point, maybe we thought of starting nga naman a business. No, I know I did, but in my two experiences of running actual business, I didn't really think it would be this difficult to run it, much less expand it. So investing in stocks allows us to make the dream of owning a business come true, but we will lighten the burden for ourselves. We will leave that burden to the managers of the company. Ayan. Those responsible for creating jobs, sila na po ang bahala sa pera natin. Those who give us income, sila na po ang bahala sa kapital natin. Those making it accessible for us to buy goods and services that we need and enjoy today. That's what investing in stocks allows us to do. Ultimately, those we give our money, no? We are putting our money in those who can potentially improve our quality of life. Right? So that's what uh, investing in stocks really give us the opportunity to do. Okay. How can you start investing in stocks? Let us present just two ways for now to start. No, an investor can start investing in stocks through the primary market, or more popularly known as initial public offerings. Those of you who may have been following the stock market lately will have read that last week, up to yesterday actually, there was an initial public offering for the stock called the AREIT, Ayala Real Estate Investment Trust. What happens during an IPO, all right? So an IPO is an event where a company offers shares of its stock to the public for the very first time, okay? So for example, I am a corporation, like in the most recent case, I am the Ayala Real Estate Investment Trust, the AREIT. And I am a company that exists to basically own other businesses that earn via lease revenue, no? So nagpapaupa ako ng mga office spaces sa iba. And I'd like to expand, no? I'd like to buy more of these lease revenue producing properties, no? I want to expand. One option for me is to raise money by tapping the investing public. All right. So I will be raising money from investors. I can be an individual investor. I can be a company with money. And this money that I will raise, I will put into this expansion project. Not long after, hopefully, no, once the money is used for that purpose, okay, the company makes a profit, and the value is returned to the investors by way of either dividends, okay, or maybe the price of the shares that were offered to the public, no, dito sa stage na to. Pag nag-offer ng shares to the public, investors give money in exchange for shares. And if the company makes a profit, a higher profit, then baka yung presyo ng shares tataas. And that's what we call capital gains, okay? And in the event where the company decides to distribute earnings, okay, yung tubo na ng negosyo, gusto na ipamigay sa mga may-ari ng negosyo, that's what we call dividends. Ayan. Okay, so that's it, simply how an IPO works. Before the A-REIT, some of the more recent IPOs were Merrimart, okay, and before that, there was Frutas and Axalum in 2019. I think the forthcoming IPO is the Convergys business, no? So more details on that to follow, okay? Another way to start investing in the stock market is through the secondary market, or other words, the Philippine Stock Exchange. Ayan. All right. This is actually a photo of the Philippine Stock Exchange as it exists today at BGC, no, Bonifacio Global City. What is an exchange? An exchange is a market, really, where buyers and sellers of shares of stock. What are they buying and what are they selling? Shares of stock. Ayan. An exchange is a market where buyers and sellers trade stocks. Ayan. For everyone's reference asset, okay, everyone is looking daily at a reference asset or a reference price. In other words, a benchmark. And what everyone is looking at every day is the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. Ayan. So now let us introduce you to what an index is. An index is a collection of stocks that represent the entire stock market. Ayan. So the PSEI, no, or the Philippine Stock Exchange Index, is a collection essentially of 30 blue chip companies that represent the entire stock market. There are about 250 plus stocks now in the Philippine Stock Exchange, and these top 30 represent the entire thing. I am showing you now in our screen the price chart, okay, of the PSEI from its inception around 1988 to I think as recent as 2019. No, the x-axis or horizontal line represents time, or the y-axis or vertical line represents price. And from first glance, no, you can see that over time, the price of these blue chips, the price of the PSEI has grown. It also shows that the price of the index can go up, it can go down, and in doing so, it shows there are peaks when the price goes up, and there are drops when the price go down. All right. This index, no, the movement of the price can be a representation, okay, the representation of the growth of the economy. What economy am I talking about? I'm talking about the Philippine economy. It can be a representation of industries, of businesses, no? If you know your basic economics, no, more jobs means more income. More income means higher capacity to spend. And when people can spend more, the quality of life increases, no? So everyone wants the PSEI, everyone wants the blue chips to perform better. Everyone wants the stock market to perform better. But in the cases where the stock market does not perform better, it is also telling to the state of the Philippine economy. All right. Investing in the stock market brings great opportunities to make money, but it also brings great risk. Okay. Ayan. I'm showing you now the prices from inception to 2020. This slide, I will be showing you just how much the opportunity is and also how much risk there is when it comes to investing in the stock market. No, so over time, over the last 10 years or so, the compounded annual growth rate of investing in the Philippine stock market is around 9.22%. This is historical. No, this is in no way an indication of what you will receive in the future. This is just to give you an idea of what someone who invests in the stock market might be seeing. No, so if you were around or if you were aware of what was happening around 10 years ago, of course, we went through the global financial crisis. And back then, the Philippine stock market crashed by 48% in 2008. The following year, as the global financial markets recovered, so did our stock market. The PSEI rallied 63%, erasing the previous year's losses. And this rally would continue on for about 5 more years, really, 2010 and 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. No, by 2015 and 2016, just to simplify the market, no, the collection of investors, both institutional, retail, both local and foreign, said after 6 years of positive gains, baka naman the stock market was expensive. Baka nauna yung stock market sa growth of the economy, and therefore it decided to take a short breather, no. In 2017, as the economy continued to grow, so did the stock market. It gained another 25%. But by 2018, we saw some challenges for the Philippine economy, namely inflation. No, sobrang taas ng inflation compared to previous years, and that worried investors because the worry was if prices and goods of goods and services were higher, then maybe businesses won't be seeing as much income. And so everyone played it safe, everyone played it cautious, and that caused the stock market to fall about 13%. In 2019, this was another breather year. It pared back earlier's losses by about 5%. And as you know, this 2020, we were hit by the coronavirus pandemic. And what has happened? No, year to date, we are down 25%. From January to February, all the way up to March, we saw the stock market crash. All right. April, May, as the economy started to open up, as we transitioned from ECQ and MECQ to GCQ, the stock market and the economy recovered. But ngayong July and August, as cases of infections piled up, then I think investors started to be risk averse. No, ayaw na naman sa risk because this ECQ really is preventing businesses to operate um, at the goal of saving lives. No, so there is a great debate nowadays between should we save more lives or should we try to curb the infections or should we focus on the economy. But there is also the argument that a healthy economy needs a healthy workforce, no, a healthy population. So the doctors, as you know, called for a 2-week break to recalibrate, to re-strategize the government's efforts, and thankfully the government listened and heeded their call. And to date, the stock market is down 25%. So there, my point in showing you these slides is to let you know that investing in the stock market can give you great opportunities, but it can also subject you to great risk. No, such is the nature of investing in an asset like the stock market. If you compare stocks to other legitimate assets like bonds and deposits, stocks, again, just to give you a mental framework, a visual framework, stocks have the highest risk among the three, but again, they are potentially more rewarding than the other two. And because we are investing in businesses, remember, we need to give these businesses, this asset, some time to appreciate, to grow, no? To let the managers of the company realize their strategy, no? Which is why stocks really are meant to be a long-term investment. Okay, so just to take a moment to absorb this chart. What do I mean? What do these two colored icons mean? No, you can see that there is an emergency fund and there is a growth fund. All right, traditional thinking is that the money that you will be putting in stocks is money meant for the future. Although you can trade and earn money quickly, the traditional way to invest in stocks is to consider it for your retirement, for long-term growth. Whereas investing and keeping your money in time deposits and savings accounts, maybe treasury bills, is supposed to be money used for the short term or money set aside in preparation for an emergency fund. All right. So take a moment lang to absorb this slide. You can invest in one asset or you can invest in several. Hindi po competition between the three, no? I actually am a big fan of what we call diversification or diversifying your investments. Okay, you can invest in one stock or you can invest in as many as you want. You can invest in one type of asset, no, like a medium, short, or long-term asset. You can invest in one or you can invest in as many as you want. The decision is yours to make based on your goal for that particular portion of your funds. Investing in several assets has its own term and it's called diversification. Diversifying is our investments that are spread across several assets, as mentioned. And the process of diversifying allows us to spread risk and balance it with potential reward. So going back, if stocks are risky, are we gambling then? Or tumataya ba tayo? No? If you simply bet that a price of a stock goes up and then you buy it, But after you buy it, hindi umakit yung presyo. In fact, bumagsak siya. Then yes, you took a gamble. But if you take time to get to know the business, if you take time to understand how that business works, if you take time to understand the current value of the business and compare it to its price and its future prospects, then you are not gambling, then you are investing. Remember, investing in shares of stock means you are buying a piece of a business. All right. So if you understand intimately what is happening with the business, its current challenges, its current opportunities, what is the business good at? Okay, what is the business weak at? What is it trying to achieve? Where is it trying to go? Okay, and you want to be a part of that growth, then when you buy shares, you are not gambling, you are investing. Okay. So again, how can we earn from investing in stocks? There are again just two ways. Price appreciation, okay? Umakyat po yung presyo ng shares from the time you bought it, and then you sell it at a higher price, you receive more capital in return. And the second way is what we call dividends, or your share, a stockholder share of the company's profits. Okay? Remember these two? How do you earn? Price appreciation and dividends. There are some businesses by nature, no, that like to give dividends. Anong mga klaseng negosyong to? These are businesses that have stable revenue, stable sales. Okay? These are businesses that have stable income. Ano po yung mga negosyo na may stable business at may stable income? For example, telecommunications. Yung mga may subscribers, no? Guaranteed na yung halos yung paggamit ng cellphone. You either are a postpaid user or a prepaid, but either way, you are paying to use this service, no? Utility companies. Pwede rin po water businesses, right? We all need water. Every house needs water, and sales are therefore almost guaranteed. And because sales and profits are almost guaranteed, then they can more readily give their investors, their owners, a share in the company's profits. And what other kinds of businesses are there? There are the kinds of businesses that are growing, no, are still young and growing. There are businesses that like to reinvest their earnings, no, to grow faster. And this is really how um, non-utility companies, um, growth companies like land companies, no, property companies. These are how holdings companies usually make their investors happy through price appreciation. Okay, so let us give you three examples now of what it's like to earn from investing in stocks. No, first example is SM. Okay, here we have again the price chart of SM. The x-axis is time, and the y-axis is price. So as you can see, from 2005, 2006, 2020, the share price of SM has gone up tremendously. In fact, in 2015, no, one share of SM had a price of 547 pesos. All right. And not 5 years later, the price ballooned to 1,090 pesos per share. So if you had bought SM shares in 2015, you would have paid 547 pesos. That is the price that you would have paid. But those who bought SM shares understood that SM had nowhere to go but up. It was building malls left and right in the Philippines. It was starting to build malls outside Philippine borders. And understood that the future value of SM would be more. No, minimum number of shares to invest in SM to buy shares is 10. Meaning, if you'd had decided to invest in SM in 2015, you would have had a minimum initial investment of 5,470 pesos. All right. And if you had waited 5 years, no, your investment would have grown to about 10,000. And let me circle back to our point earlier why it's important to save as well. Saving allows you to build capital, no? So in this example I gave for SM, what if you had invested not 10 shares, but if you had bought, let's say, 100 shares, no? Then you would have invested 54,700 pesos, and 5 years later, you would have more than 108,000 pesos. And what if you had bought 1,000 shares, no, halimbawa, no? So you would have invested 547,000 pesos, and 5 years later, you would have had 1,000,000 pesos. You could have doubled your money, no? So that's the value really of having a larger capital base when it comes to investing. It allows you again to augment your income and make your money make you more money. Okay, starting small is good. It is a good starting point, but also having enough capital, a large capital, will also help you go a long way. Okay, so that's our first example for capital appreciation. Now let's look at another stock, another popular stock, and this is Jollibee. No, and you can notice from the price chart that it has a similar-ish behavior. The price had similar behavior to SM. In 1993, when the company first offered its shares to the public, it offered its shares at a price of 9 pesos. But come 2019, no, before COVID hit all of us, the shares had grown to 320 pesos per share, or times 35 thereabouts. No? So for those of us who at one point in our lives thought about starting a restaurant but did not have the expertise to run a restaurant, and did not have the expertise to expand the restaurant, to do away with that hassle, you could consider also investing in a company like Jollibee, because Jollibee in its enormity had enough funds to buy the rights and the ownership to other businesses like Chowking, Greenwich, Burger King, Red Ribbon, and Mang Inasal, who all were once its competitors. No, so if you could not beat them, simply join them. So this is a way for you to build wealth without having to um, go through the trouble. Ayan. And lastly, our third example is Meralco. So Meralco is a electric distribution company, yes. Its shares have appreciated, but not as smoothly as SM and Jollibee. No, there is capital appreciation, as you can see from its share price difference from 2019 to 2017. But the main reason why people like to invest in Meralco is because it is a very good dividend-paying company. Okay, um, Meralco likes to pay dividends for around 3 or 4 times a year. Um, and in most recently in 2019, the company gave a total of 16 pesos per share to its investors. What does this mean? This means that if you had invested in 1,000 shares, if you had used your money to buy 1,000 shares, you would receive a gross amount of 16,050 pesos, no? Less 10% withheld, no? So that's why people like to invest in companies like Meralco. Other companies that like to give dividends are usually gasoline companies like Shell, GMA, okay, likes to give dividends, and other companies as well, no, like PLC, Philippine Leisure Corporation. So these are companies that like to give dividends. Okay, so those are the examples of capital appreciation, and those are the examples of companies that like to pay dividends. These three companies that I just showed you, no, SM, JFC, and Meralco. These are three of the 30 blue chip companies in the Philippines right now. Okay, what are blue chips? There's not actually one definition uh, for blue chips, but let us give you an idea what a blue chip might have. No, a blue chip might have good brand recall or good demand for its products and services. As you know, SM is the biggest mall, a chain of malls in the Philippines. Jollibee is the biggest fast food corporation. Manila Electric Company is the biggest electric distributor in the greater Metro Manila area. No, so good brand recall and good demand for its products or services. A blue chip would have its lion's share in its sector, no? So they are the company that is able to distribute the most of whatever it distributes, no, be it food or malls or electricity. And they pretty much dominate the sector. Okay, so and the third one is they have a wide range of goods and services that they can offer. And lastly, they are historically proven to weather economic downturns. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Ibig po sabihin nito is kahit magka-problema ang ekonomiya, halimbawa like in COVID, at least among these three examples, SM, Jollibee, Meralco will still be able to register sales because the houses still need or require electricity. The malls, even if they are using less electricity, still need electricity. Offices too. Jollibee during a pandemic may not operate as well as during other years, but again, it's food, no? So if Jollibee can find a way to distribute the same amount of food to the public in a safe and convenient manner, then they should do well. And for SM, again, pag MECQ or ECQ, medyo hindi pwede pumunta sa malls, but during GCQ, as you could see, ang daming taong talagang by nature gustong pumunta sa mall. Hindi ko po alam kung nagsha-shopping na sila or nagpapalamig lang kasi mainit sa Pilipinas, or SM has made it a point to partner with terminals, buses, no? So dito po nagkaka-transfer ang mga commuters. So whatever they may be, no, they have enough assets, they have enough money, they have enough expertise to weather this pandemic and make it through in a better position, hopefully, than in 2008, no, when we first encountered a major crisis. All right. So let's look at what else are included in the PSEI, the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. As mentioned earlier, there are about 30 companies here, each with brands that we are familiar with. There are the Cs, okay, SM, BDO, no, SM Prime Holdings. There are the Ayalas. There is BPI. There's Ayala Land. There's Ayala Corp. There's Globe. Okay, there are the Gokong Ways, no. There's URC, who is part of the Gokongwei Group. There's Robinsons. There is okay, the JGS, JG Summit Holdings Group, no. There are the Ts, who own Metrobank. There are the Aboitises, who have a holdings company and who have Aboitis Power. Okay, there are the Tans, the Cos, and other prominent families here, right? So ito po, these are all brands and names that we are familiar with. As mentioned also earlier, there are over 200 companies whose share of stock are traded on the exchange. Of these, there are about 27 which are classified as preferred shares. What are preferred shares? Preferred shares are ownership or shares, okay, that have a different set of rights than common shares. The distinguishing factor of preferred shares, siguro, is that these are shares that often pay dividends more than common shareholders. Ayan, common shares. All right, so there are about 200 plus common shares. There are about 27 preferred shares. Typically, preferred shareholders do not like to trade these because, again, these preferred shares like to give dividends, no? But the trade-off there is that when comparing to price appreciation or capital appreciation or capital gains, mas mataas po yung potential sa common shareholders. So that's why it's good to have some of preferred and some of common shares. All right. Again, there are 30 blue chips, but after that there are the second liners, no, yung mga almost as good as blue chip companies, but not quite there yet. And there are the speculative stocks, no, the smaller companies who are not yet as stable but provide better or greater growth opportunities. Ayan. So if you're looking for investment for the first time, I suggest you start with the blue chips. And if you're looking to trade, if you're looking for excitement, if you're looking for higher growth, but again, that comes with higher risk, then you can look at the third liners, these speculative stocks, no? Ayan. Just a side note, also on preferred shares, they pay dividends annually, no, and they are higher yielding than common shares. Okay, and in the event where there will be a claim to the assets of the company, the preferred shareholders will have a higher claim than the common shareholders. Okay, so ganyan lang po. So a note on the behavior of the Philippine Stock Exchange now, the stock or equity market. Every day, these shares are traded, no, by buyers and sellers. First Metro Securities, our company comes in by acting as your broker or your agent on the stock exchange. Okay, we help connect the buyers and the sellers with each other. Ayan. So now I will show you the daily schedule of the Philippine stock market. Um, the stock market nowadays opens at 9:30 a.m., meaning at 9:30 a.m. trading begins, buying and selling of stocks begin. And when it begins, you will start to see the movement of the ticker tape below, no? So ganyan. This is siguro the universal symbol or the universal sign of an active stock market, no? Many people are probably wondering what this means, but allow us to demystify it for you. This is a very, very simple. The sticker tape gives you very simple information, really. No, at the top of the ticker tape, no, that signifies active trading. You will first see the stock symbol. Ayan. In this case, MBT refers to the stock symbol of Metro Bank and Trust Company. Okay. Jollibee stock symbol is JFC. JFC meaning Jollibee Foods Corporation. SM investment stock symbol is SM, right? And Meralco stock symbol is MER. Ganyan po. So that is the first bit of information there. The number under the stock symbol refers to the price. Ibig sabihin po niyan, okay, this trade, there was a trade that happened for MBT, for Metrobank, and the price that the seller and the buyer settled on is 66 pesos per share. And the number below refers to the number of shares that exchange hands. Okay. So for this particular trade, no, there were 1,360 shares that exchange hands, and they did the trade at a price of 66 pesos per share. All right. And then the two details below refer to the brokers, all right, that initiated the trade. Okay, so if the tape is green, no, that means that this trade was done at a higher price than the previous trade for this stock. Okay, so baka kasi if the previous trade was 65 pesos, ngayon 66, ibig sabihin the value of the shares increased na. If the color is red, no, so you can see below that there are some red trades. That means that this trade was done at a lower price than the previous trade. Okay, and then if the color is yellow, right, that means it was done at the same price as the previous trade. All right. So at 9:30 a.m. trading happens, but take note, when you start to experience trading, no, you will see that it is broken down by actions. There is an action to input a request to buy. There is an action to input a request to sell. Although trading starts at 9:30 a.m., you can actually start to input your buy and sell orders before that. As early as 9 a.m., okay, you can start to input your trades. But hindi pa mamamatch, hindi pa magkakaroon ng matching on the exchange. Wala pa pong actual trades na magaganap until 9:30. Okay? There is a lunch break normally, no, but let's not talk about that first. While we are in GCQ and ECQ and ECQ, wala pong break. Once trading starts, dire-diretso na po yan. And the market closes, all trading stops at 1 p.m. Okay. On a normal day, trading stops at 3:30 p.m. and there is a lunch break between 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. All right. At 1:45, there is a halt in trading, no? At 1:50, trading resumes. So this gives opportunity for buyers and sellers to input their last trades for the day, pero hindi na po gagalaw yung price. Okay? The prices will be set at the final prices for the day, and if anyone wants to buy at those prices or sell at those prices, they're free to do so. So that is the schedule of the stock market every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wala pong trading nagaganap during the weekends. And as a general rule, no, there is a schedule for setting your buy and sell orders, but sometimes they are allowed prior to actual trading. Okay, so ayun po. That is the schedule for the day. Now let us introduce to you this need to know ito. No, this is called the board lot. Okay, you don't need a lot of money to invest, but you need to follow certain rules. No, I'm showing you now the last traded price for these specific businesses today. No, last traded price nila today. So Metro Pacific Investments last traded price was 3.07, and all the way down to Globe, and its last trading price was 2,070 pesos per share. Okay, so what is this chart on the right side? Ayan po. Sa stock market, there is a system that we follow. This is called the board lot. What this basically means is that at a certain price range, no, be it 1 pesos, 3 pesos, 130 pesos, so on and so forth, we are subject to buying a minimum number of shares. And that refers to the board lot, right? So yan po ibig sabihin yan. What does this mean? How do you interpret this? Let's take for example itong Metro Pacific Investments. Last price is 3 pesos and 7 centavos. Now we take that last price and we follow the board lot. Where does it fall under? It falls under the range of 50 centavos to 4.99. Ayan. And what this means is if we are going to buy Metro Pacific Investments, the minimum number of shares that we must buy to become a part owner in this business is 1,000. And therefore, our minimum or initial investment is somewhere around 3,070 pesos. So that's what this means, no? If you are looking at, let's say, Ayala Land, which had a last price of 32.2, where does 32.2 fall under? It falls under the range of 5 pesos to 49.95 dito po, no? And what this means is the minimum number of shares you must buy is 100. So 32 times 100 is 3,220 pesos per share. All right. So yes, you don't need a lot of money in order to invest, but you have to be following this board lot. This board lot is a reference, which is also on the FirstMetroSec online trading platform. For Globe, no, the last price is 2,070 pesos. If you look at the board lot, it falls under the greater than 1,000 peso price, and therefore you must buy a minimum of 5 shares to be a part owner or to be an investor sa Globe. So ayan po. Yes, you don't need a lot of money in order to invest, okay? But you also need a bit of money, a bit of capital in order to invest, no? So again, the board lot refers to the minimum number of shares that you must buy depending on the price and how much more in multiples if you want to add. Okay? So last example natin is ito, yung San Miguel Corporation. Last price niya is 98.5. Ayan. So if you look at the board lot, it falls between 50 to 999.5, right? And that means you have to buy a minimum of 10 shares. So minimum investment niya is 985 pesos, thereabouts. And if you want to add more, you have to buy 10 shares and then 20, then 30, then 40, then 50. So need to know to, no? This is a good need to know for investing, starting out in the Philippine stock market. And okay, so how exactly do you buy shares? So let me demo to you now how you will be buying shares if you decide to buy it through an online trading account with First MetroSec. So ganito lang po yun, no? This is the landing page. Okay, on the top banner, you click trade. Once you click that trade button, you will arrive at this page where you can see the new order entry details to your left. So some details that you will have to indicate. Are you buying or are you selling shares? So we're buying because this is our first time. Halimbawa, no? What business would you like to buy? If you know the stock symbol, you can input it quick. But if you don't have the stock symbol, you can look here, right? So my upper right portion, you will see the symbol guide link. You can click that one. A pop-up window will open, and then you can check the stock symbol for the business that you like to buy. All right. So for Metrobank halimbawa, if you want to buy Metrobank, you input the stock symbol MBT. All right. You can either press tab or you can press get code to look at the codes for the day. Ayan. So before we move on, I'd like to introduce you now to the market through the bid and ask price columns. If you are buying shares, okay, the columns that you might want to look at are ask price and ask volume. Okay, ito po. And if you are selling shares, no, the two columns that you'd like to look at are the bid volume and bid price. But since we are buying shares right now, this is our first time, we will focus on the ask price and ask volume. Why are they called ask price and why are they called ask volume? They are called these because these are literally the current shareholders, no, offering to sell to you their shares of Metrobank. So take the first row of ask price and ask volume. You see there 85.9. Ayan po. And you also see sa ask volume 21,670. What does this mean? This means that at the price of 85.9, okay, all those who have Metrobank shares and are willing to sell to you, okay, are offering to the market a total of 21,670 shares. Right? Ayan, yan ibig sabihin. This means that if you wanted to buy now, right now, at this moment, if you look at the date below, April 28, 2018, no? Of course, it's past trading time, no? But if the market were open and you wanted to buy MBT shares now, the cheapest you can buy MBT now is 85.90. Because if you notice, if you look down, nagmamahal po siya. Ayan po. Right? So, if you want to buy shares right away, you look at ask price and ask volume. Question po, what if I wanted to buy 22,000 shares outright? What will happen? Okay. So this is what's going to happen. If you want to buy 22,000 shares, okay, and you click 85.9, what's going to happen is kayo po makukuha nyo lahat ng 21,670 shares na titira dyan. Now, for the remaining 330 shares na hindi pa na-take up, okay, it will be unfilled or the system will wait for someone to sell to you at 85.9, okay, before you are able to complete the transaction. If you don't want to wait for 85.9, okay, you can edit your price to 85.95 so that makukuha mo na kaagad siya because at the next price, there are 600 available shares, 330 po out of the 600 mapupunta sa inyo. So ganun po, that's how it works. Okay? So ganun po. And if you're selling, no, you are going to look at the bid volume and bid price. Why are they called bid volume and bid price? Because these are literally the ones who are lined up to buy Metrobank shares from you if you are a shareholder. And this means bid volume means, okay, this 9,350, this figure means all those who want to buy Metrobank shares at 85.85, there is a total of 9,350 shares waiting to buy at that price. Ayan po. So they're ready buyers na. And if you notice, if you go down the bid column, bid price column, 85.85 and 85.8, ito naman pamura ng pamura. All right. So again, you have to look at the top rows if you want the transaction to get done today. Okay. So ganyan po. So going back to inputting the details for our trade, what else do we need to know? No. As mentioned earlier, if you want a reference to the board lot, it's here po on the right. You can click the board lot and find the minimum number of shares that you have to adhere to here. But also, para madali, no, it will also appear beside dito sa quantity, automatic na, it will appear minimum number of shares to buy. So you have to put the quantity, how much shares would you like to buy, the price that you'd like to buy it at. Again, so if you put 85.90 and click preview order, okay, automatic, it will ask you to input your password and then done na yan because may available shares at that price. Ayan. Here's a pro tip for everyone, no? If you are looking to buy shares at a certain price and sell it at a higher price, you can use our trade calculator here beside the symbol guide. You can click trade calculator so that you know, okay, at what price you need to sell it to make a profit. You will also be able to see the breakdown of charges. So in buying shares, these details you can find sa aming frequently asked questions pages. But here you can see the gross amount of your investment, how much commission you will be asked to pay, the government mandated VAT, the SCCP, which is Securities Clearing Corporation of the Philippines fee. You will also see the PSE fee. Ayan. So the charges for buying and selling are pretty much the same, except that in the selling portion, there is a sales tax of 0.60%. Ayan po. Mas mataas po ang charges to sell than to buy because it assumes that if you sell, sana you sell at a profit. So instead of capital gains tax, sales tax na lang siya. All right. So this tells you that every trade that you get into, you must clear 1.19% just to break even. All right. So ganyan. Here's a pro tip lang for you. If you are starting out, use the trade calculator to know at what price you need to sell to make a profit. Again, if you buy at one price and you sell at the same price that you bought it, hindi po yan break even because there are charges. This is the lowest possible commission fee that you can find anywhere in all online trading accounts. This is the lowest. And the commission fee is 0.25%. Okay? Or 20 pesos, whichever is higher. All right? So, ayan po. So, the last thing that you need to set here is the term of your order. Again, this is an order to buy, no? Or an order to sell. And you can set the validity of your buy order or sell order. Good until the end of the day, good till the end of the week, which is GTW, or good till the end of the month, which is GTM. Ano po ang value nito? What is the importance of this? Okay, ganito po yan. Let's go back to the bid volume and bid price. All right. As you can see here, no, the price at which there are the most number of people waiting is 85.65 as it happens, no? At 85.65, the lowest row here, you can see that there are 11,130 people. Dito po, left column, the bid volume. These are where people are lined up the most to buy shares. Okay? If you believe that Metrobank is worth 85.65, or if you're willing only to buy at this price, no? Or let's say you're willing to buy at 80 pesos per share, all right? You can actually set your buy order to say, buy Metrobank 10 shares, price 80 pesos, hindi po 85.90. And then you set the term at good till the end of the month. Ang mangyayari po dyan is the system will post this order to buy and it will wait for 1 month or 1 week or until the end of the day until there is someone willing to sell to you at your desired price. So that is the value of the term, no? Inversely, if you already have Metrobank shares, you bought halimbawa at 80 pesos, no? And you want to sell it at 90 pesos. You can also set a order, no? Sell Metrobank shares at 90 pesos and make the validity of your sell order be good till the end of the month. Ibig po sabihin yan, the system will post your sell order until the next calendar month, no? Until the next 30 days. Kung may willing bumili sa'yo at 90 pesos, automatic, tapos na yung trade. But if nobody is willing to sell you at 90 pesos, the order will just expire. It won't cancel, it will expire. So that is the value of this term. No, it allows you to set your orders and let the system do the rest para hindi na natin kailangan mag-abang. After we set those details, we will be required to input our password. But on the upper right portion here, there's also an option to turn off your password to trade faster. So once you send order, okay, ayan na po, nakalista na po, queued na po yung order nyo sa platform and sa PSE. Okay? You can view your orders dito po sa trade, no? Trade and then view orders. You can see which orders are still outstanding or open. You can see which orders yung matched na po if you're buying. That means na matched na siya with someone selling. You can see all your canceled or rejected orders. And here are the statuses below. Okay. Let me just highlight a few. Open order means outstanding. Hindi pa po na ma-match. Okay, partially filled. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? If you decide to buy 1 million shares but only 500,000 shares have been matched at the price that you want, ibig sabihin partially filled pa lang siya. Processing, kapag nag-match po siya, you might see this very briefly, no? Processing yung order. So canceled is, of course, you canceled it. If all of your shares have been matched, no, it will appear as filled. I hardly see any rejected. Siguro funding issues po yan. Next, queued. Um, that can be queued no kapag 9 a.m. nag-post kayo ng order pero hindi pa bukas yung market. Expired. These are for the good till day or good till week or good till month orders na hindi nag-match, nag-expire lang siya. And then you will hardly see unplaced or untriggered here for the classic platform. So ayan. Okay. To see your stock portfolio and how much cash you have and if you have invested in mutual funds, no, you can look at your portfolio page. You can see the breakdown. You can see your cost, how much you bought the shares for, average cost. Bakit po average yan? In case you buy shares 2 or 3 or 4 times at different cost, no, it will display your average cost. You will see your shares, you will see your market value, which are simply the last price times the shares. Okay, total cost is basically your average cost times the shares. And then you will see if you are profit or loss. Ayan po, maganda. Maganda and easy reference, no? Everything you need to know is online. All right? So there, that is the demo for buying shares. Now, in moving forward, we'd just like to share with you this quote from Mr. Benjamin Graham. He is the mentor, no, and the father of investing in the States. No, in one of his books, he said that successful investing, being able to make money through investing, is about managing risk and not avoiding it. So, when we show you this page, this portfolio page that is currently seeing losses no kasi pula, it's all part of the process. You will encounter this, and it's about managing what to do with it. All right. So some tips to manage risk, no. Tip number one: use investable cash. Ano po ibig sabihin yan? Uh, what we mean by using investable cash is take opportunities to buy shares at lower prices. And we assume that when we say buy shares, no, we assume that you're buying quality stocks. For example, you buy Jollibee at 100 pesos, all right? And then suddenly the share price drops to 90 pesos. So you're down 10%. When we say use investable cash and you believe in Jollibee and its growth story, then what you can do is you can use that extra cash, right, to buy shares again so that from your cost of 100 pesos per share and you buy at 90, your average cost can go down to 95 pesos per share. So you can use cash, extra investable cash as a strategy. All right. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is invest in leading stocks from various industries to diversify. So what are the different industries? There are the holding companies, there are banks, there are properties, there's food, there's utilities, there's services, no? What you can do is you can read up on the biggest companies from each industry. And one strategy is to simply buy the shares of those companies kasi sila nga yung pinakamalaki and they are the ones poised to keep expanding and keep delivering goods and services for the next few decades, no? And last tip to manage risk, we offer a lot of published material. We offer a lot of guidance. All right. We have seasoned research analysts who watch the market, who study companies, and they publish their findings as often as they can to help guide investors. Our goal really is for you to meet your goal, your financial goals, no. So in studying the market, in keeping you guys updated and guided, we are working very hard to fulfill that obligation to you. So keep learning, keep reading, and keep using or leveraging of the well experienced professionals in the field. All right. So how do you access our research materials? On the platform, you can simply click the research button on the top banner. You can click FMS reports to view our roster, our list of published material. We have a few, but let me highlight just a few, three, no, 3 or 4. The first research report that we published that I'd like to highlight for everyone is the Consensus Corner. If you're starting out and you'd like to know what the market is thinking, If you'd like to know the breakdown of the industries and the various companies under each industry, I suggest to take a look at the Consensus Corner. Here you can find the details like the last price. You can find the details, such details like how much has the price changed from last week, how much has the price changed from the start of the year. You can find details like mahilig bang magbigay ng dividend to. Okay, you can find out intermediate and advanced details like the PE and PBV that you see there. The PE and PBV refer to the price earnings per share ratio and the price over book value per share, no, or the price over book value ratio. This will be discussed in the latter webinars, no. And you will also be able to see the consensus target price, ayan, for all the brokers, all the research departments who care to publish their findings, no, their studies on each of the company. What we do is we take those published material and we average out the market's target price. So, for example, the first line here is AC, that is Ayala Corp, and the consensus target price halimbawa as of January 3, no, is 1,019 pesos per share. And from the last price of 776 last January 3, that is a potential profit of 31% and the consensus rating is buy. Ayan. So if you'd like to see details such as this, visit the consensus corner. Ayan. Okay? Sorry, ito pala malaki. Ayan. So see the breakdown of properties, banks, manufacturing, services, utilities, mining, and other industries. No? So ganyan. The second published report that I'd like to highlight is our company research. Here naman, instead of viewing comparatively the different businesses, here we focus on one company. And in this case, Robinson's Land Corporation. Here we talk about the story of the company. We talk about our recommendation, in which case it's to buy Robinson's Land Corporation, and why we have come to the conclusion that we suggest to buy Robinson's Land. So if you want a company-centric report, you can look at the company research. So what if you're not yet a good stock picker? I'm just starting out, no? I don't know yet where to start. I'm not familiar. What if I'm busy? I'm a parent who takes my kids to school. I have a job. I'm stuck in traffic, no? I have two jobs. What if I'm a potentially emotional investor? I am unable to see red in my portfolio. I'm unable to take paper losses, no? Is there a convenient and easy way to invest in the stock market? Well, we would like to say yes. No, we have come up with a way to start investing in the most convenient and easy manner. And in addition to that, we have found a way to make things very affordable for investors. Okay, why do we say affordable? Because if you took the time, to invest in the index, all the top 30 companies in the Philippines one by one, because again, these are the blue chips, you would have to invest an amount that may be expensive, no, or too high for someone starting out. To buy the top 30 blue chip companies one by one, not only would it take too much time, it would cost you more than 100,000 pesos to buy all top 30 companies. But we have found a way to allow investors to start investing in blue chips in the PSEI for as low as 1,000 pesos. And that is by buying what we call the First Metro Philippine Equity Exchange Traded Fund, or in short, FMETF, First Metro Exchange Traded Fund. By investing or by buying the FMETF, no, in exchange for your money, you will be receiving shares of FMETF, okay, and that effectively allows you to instantly own multiple business because this fund, okay, once it receives the money of investors, it will use that money to distribute it among the blue chip companies at according to their contribution to the entire blue chip pie chart, no. So halimbawa, SM is the biggest company, no, most of your funds will go to SM. The next biggest company is halimbawa BDO. Then the next biggest portion will be to BDO. So it will buy these companies equitably. All right. So it gives us investors a very easy and convenient way to invest starting out. how does the FM ETF compare to the PSEI? Okay, so this chart is meant to show you that the FM ETF represented by the blue line, the purple line, mirrors or tracks, okay, that of the PSEI. Ayan. Why? Because it invests in the blue chips, no? So buying the FM ETF is actually very affordable. Right now, it's trading at around 95 pesos per share, and minimum number of shares to buy FM ETF is 10. So your minimum investment is 954. So your 954 will be distributed among the 30 blue chip companies. Okay. Is it enough to buy once? Do I buy several times? Ano ba yung magandang diskarte dyan? If you're starting out, we suggest you consider employing what we call the peso cost average strategy. What is the peso cost average strategy? This is the strategy of investing fixed amounts, no? Be it 1,000, be it 5,000, be it 10,000, no? Whatever the amount that you set, but you invest it at regular intervals regardless of the market trend. If you're starting out and you don't like to uh, determine yung low prices and high prices, we suggest you just do the peso cost average strategy, and this is what it would look like, if you employ it. The peso cost average strategy allows you to buy at by the market, by the index, when it is both cheap and when it is both expensive, no? So that you have the average cost. Kaya nga cost average strategy. So that when we eventually get to the top, hopefully in a few years we will reach a 9,000, perhaps 9,500, no? Um, you would have bought the market at the average price. So if you're doing peso cost average, the market now is around 6,700, no, 6,800. It's definitely better to buy now than last year. But definitely better than to buy it at the end of 2017, no? Um, so that's a good way to start out. But if you are a little bit more versed with the market and what's happening, then you can do and use different strategies. Use buying the FM ETF. Okay, there is some wisdom naman in doing the peso cost average strategy, no? And this wisdom is shared to us by none other than one of the most famous and successful investors of all time. His name is Mr. Warren Buffett. He said that if you invested in a low cost index fund, or a fund basically that invests in an index like the PSEI, low cost, yes, 954, less than 1,000 pesos. If you invested in something like the FM ETF, where you don't put the money in once, you don't put in the money in one time lang, but you average, the buying, you distribute the buying over 10 years, you'll do better than 90% of people who started investing at the same time. All right. Why? Because investing really is as much an art than it is a science. What do I mean by that? No, sometimes people see na parang I invest, I'm down 3%. I let my emotions, my worry, my anxiety control my actions. I sell at a loss. Then I buy again, and this time I'm down 5%. Ayan, I'm down 5%, and then I can't bear to see another red portfolio. So I sell again. This time I sell at a loss of 5%. So I'm basically down 8% na. And then the same thing happens, no? Again and again and again. And before you know it, you're down 15%. No? You in that case, you let your emotions get hold of you. You let your emotions dictate your actions. No? So it is as much a game of emotions and a game of science. But if you have the program, if you have the program to average down, if you have the program to, let's say, buy and sell, buy low, sell high, no, then you may be doing better than the people who let their emotions dictate their actions. Ayan. That's the point here. No? Having a program is really what this quote is all about. And the simplest program really is to buy in small, frequent amounts. Hence the peso cost average strategy. All right. Is it good to start early, or can I wait a little bit later, no? After the pandemic, after COVID-19, after we have recovered? Um, I will always say that the best time to start is when you are most comfortable. If you are most comfortable with the program that you have set, if it's peso cost average, or if you like to do buy low and sell high, or if you're a trend follower, if you're a trader, that's fine. But there are benefits to starting early if you're going to do the peso cost average strategy. Let's talk about the benefits of starting early versus starting late. So let me give you an example. No? So on the left side, okay, this is, let's call him Marco. No? So that's me. And on the right side, let's call him Aaron. Okay, so that's Aaron. So for example, myself, Marco, and Aaron are 30 years old, halimbawa. We will be retiring at age 60, 30 years from now. Okay. I decide to start today. Aaron will decide to start when he's 40 years old. Okay, 10 years later. Okay. If I start today and I invest every day or as often as I can, I will have an investment horizon of 30 years. But if Aaron starts at age 40, 10 years later, his investment horizon until he retires is 20 years. No? So yeah, that's the difference. Number one. Number two. Sorry, number three na po. Um, because my salary is not that high, no? I can only set aside to invest 1.5 per month now. And Aaron decides, let me start when my salary is a bit higher, 10 years later. And by then, let's say I can set aside 3,000 pesos per month. Ayan. Both of us will decide to put money constantly in a low-cost index fund like the FMETF. All right. So what will happen? No, 30 years later, at age 60, si Aaron, having set aside 3,000 pesos per month for 20 years, would be able to build an a growth fund of 720,000 pesos. Ayan. Yan na po ang naitabi niya, nailagay niya sa FMETF. Ako naman, 1,500 pesos per month, no, over 30 years, I would be able to set aside and place in the FMETF 540,000 pesos. Ayan. So at the onset, it looks like lamang si Aaron because he set aside more money. But if our money, no, is subjected to the market forces, if our money grows by 10% compounded annually, no, over 30 years, over 20 years, no. And where did I get 10%? From the earlier slide of compounded annual growth rate of about 9%. So, halimbawa na lang, no, 10% nag-grow ang ating pera per year. Si Aaron, 720,000 pesos may grow to 2.1, almost 2.2 million pesos by the time he reaches age 60. So that's about times 3, no? So times 3 over 20 years. So I would call that prudent already. Maganda na po yung times 3, no? Money growing. But for me, my portfolio can grow to about 3.1 million pesos because of the following factors. Number one, I had a longer time horizon. No, I let my money grow over a longer period of time, and therefore every year my money growing at 10% would allow me to compound it better and higher than Aaron. So the point of this slide really is to show you that starting early using the peso cost average has its advantages. All right. Again, starting early and allowing your money to compound longer will have its advantages rather than starting late. Ayan. So, whatever your goals are, whether your financial goals are to allow you to buy a nice house with a nice pool, whether it is to allow you to buy a nice car, or to travel, or have kids that get married, no, or whether it's simply living the rest of your life beside the beach. Warren Buffett says again, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, then sadly, we will have to work until we die, which is why it's important to first know your options when it comes to what assets we can invest in, what are the legitimate assets, what are your options in the stock market, how do we approach it, do we do peso cost average, do we trade, do we select just one or two stocks and ride it out from there, no? If we don't find a way to make money while we sleep, we will have to work until we die. And you know what? The sad reality here in the Philippines is it's true, no? According to a Filipino retirement survey done by the SSS about a decade ago, and sadly, medyo ganito pa rin yung statistics. 45% of Filipinos who retire at age 60, 65, no, still depend on relatives to survive. Okay, they pool their resources and live together, no. 30% depend on some form of charity. 23% of Filipinos who retire still try to find work, whether it's a consulting job or teach. No, and only 2% are able to retire financially independent. Ibig po sabihin nito is they have enough money to last them the rest of their lives and then some. Right? So only 2% are able to be financially independent. We are optimistic that this number will improve, starting with savings, no? Because the reality of the Philippines is 83% of Filipinos own a mobile gadget. And that means that before they were able to buy a mobile gadget, they could save money. They were able to save money. They are able to practice or follow a program of setting aside money for a purpose, right? So if you can do it for a mobile gadget, then you can do it for your future to grow your money, okay? Um, Sadly, still, no, through the statistics of the Philippine Stock Exchange and other government bodies, right now, less than 1% of Filipinos have started investing. Okay. Okay, as of 2018, there were only a total of 625 or almost 626 active online trading accounts, no, in the Philippine stock market. Okay. Uh, but despite that, 48% of Filipinos, or about half of Filipinos, have taken the time to open a Facebook account, an Instagram account. Uh, they have a YouTube account, no? And they spend an average of 3 hours and 42 minutes on screen, no? So we know that Filipinos simply just need to redirect their energies towards building their wealth, um, and we think we can improve this through these types of webinars. No, so just to give you a comparison, Filipinos spend an average of 3 hours and 42 minutes on social media, but it only takes really 5 minutes per month to invest. As long as you know where to put your money and you know you have the right tools to do it, you can really retire financially independent. All right. So how can First Metrosec help you with this financial goal? Right? How can we help you? How can we assist you? It's very, very easy, no? We are your broker. We will be your broker. And as your broker, we will give you one powerful tool, one powerful online account for all your investment needs. Right now, we have the Philippines most advanced trading platform. We also have um, mutual funds on the platform, and more recently, we launched our ability to offer you retail treasury bonds through the December Premium Bond and the July RTB24. No, so one account for all your investment needs. Okay. Aside from giving you the powerful tool, we will give you guidance. Okay. Through these webinars, we have saving versus investing. We have the fundamental principles of investing. We have this stock market 101. Later this week, we will have mutual funds 101. We will have an exchange traded fund 101 to talk about the FM ETF more in depth. We also have session dedicated to peso cost averaging and applying it to the different mutual funds and different options. And then we also have the advanced guided investor fearless trader, which we will be holding this September, no, next month. No, I like attending the gift regularly to sharpen my skills and to pick up the latest learnings of the mentor, si First MetroSec consultant, Mr. Aaron Sai. So, ayan. Another way for us to give you guidance is to invite you to join our Facebook community. Here, we allow community sharing, no? And we allow, of course, we try to foster the discussion with members of the First MetroSec family so that we can improve the platform and improve our services. Aside from that, we have a First MetroSec Market Updates Viber group. No, if you join our family and if you go through the EKYC, you can simply ask for a link to this Viber community. As of today, we have almost 900 members. We share here daily stock market updates, corporate news, announcements for dividends, and announcements for from the PSE itself. We also provide guidance on a regular basis. No, so ayan. I think this is very useful if you'd like to get these updates very very quickly. Ayan. For more learning and reference videos, let me direct you to our YouTube channel because here we have posted our some of our beginner, intermediate, and advanced videos for reference. IPOs, peso cost averaging, buying your first stock, getting dividends, all of these and more can be found on our YouTube channel. And of course, if you'd like to customize the learnings, we have a roster of dedicated market education professionals to help you. And the best part about this is we do it all for free. We are willing to conduct a special and customized webinar for you and your company. Please just let us know through email or text. If you'd like to have one, schedule one, organize one, we'll be very, very happy to do so. And lastly, for those of you who are wondering, don't know what to do, don't know what stock to buy and sell and or when, again, I think everyone will like this. Now, this is our Traders Playbook report, which was launched last year and which is very popular. This allows you to get ideas, buy low, sell high. There is a new event in the market. This company announced this, or the government announced this, and it will give an opportunity for this business. The Traders Playbook will give you a guide as to what price to buy, what price to sell for a profit, or what price to sell in case that the price heads south, and we'll need to protect your capital, so we'll have a cut loss price there as well. So the Traders Playbook has been one of our more popular research reports, and we're going to give this to you as often as we can through the Viber community, through the Facebook community as well. On the platform, we have a very beautiful and slick mobile app which you can access anytime, anywhere, as long as you have stable connection, Wi-Fi, or signal. You can manage your portfolio anywhere, anytime through FirstMetroSec Go. And for those wondering how to fund your online trading account, we have created multiple funding options. You can use bills payment through online banking services of Metrobank, PS Bank, BDO, BPI, and Land Bank. You can use your credit card to fund your online trading account. You can use GCash, you can use Coins and PayMaya, and also 7-Eleven. So multiple funding options all within your reach. And the best part about all of this is we like to protect the environment. We want to make things so convenient and so easy for you that all of our transactions, be it opening an account, funding your account, withdrawing, or requesting for statements, can be done completely online. And here's how to open or register for a FirstMetroSec account in just 3 easy steps. Step number 1, visit our website, www.firstmetrosec.com.ph, and click open an account. It's as simple as that. Step 2, complete and fill out the online registration form. You will be asked to nominate your personal username, and you will be asked to nominate a complicated password for protection. It will also ask from you your basic account information like name, address, contact numbers, where you work, etc. Requirements for this is an active email address and your TIN and SSS number. Another requirement is an active bank account, bank settlement account in your name. You can open an individual account, you can open a joint account, you can open an in-trust for account. At the end of registration, you will be asked to upload the 3 following documents. First, a piece of paper, a sheet of paper with your valid ID, government ID, and your signature signed thrice. So picture, upload. Okay. Number 2, any proof of bank account number. Again, the bank account has to be in your name. So if your name is Juan de la Cruz, your online trading account should be Juan de la Cruz, and your nominated settlement bank should be Juan de la Cruz. And the third requirement is any proof of billing. This is for us to establish that your present or permanent address is existing so that we can send you your statements and your confirmations whenever you buy and sell stocks. Okay, to recap our learnings this evening, no? To recap, first, we mentioned we want you to pay yourself first by saving before spending and avoiding bad debt. And saving also allows you to build up your capital. So when you invest, you give yourself the opportunity to earn more. When you invest, you make your money work for you. And this is twofold, no? This is for you to reach your goals, your financial goals, and also, of course, beat inflation. Next, if you cannot beat the business that you will be competing against, if ever you decide to start a business, join them na lang, no? Use your time wisely, save time by deciding to invest in shares of a business that you were thinking of starting, no? Either through the individual stock itself or through the FMETF. You can do different approaches to investing in the stock market. You can invest for the long term, select one, two, three, four, as many companies as you like, buy and hold. You can trade, meaning buy low and sell at a higher price, or you can buy regularly using the peso cost average strategy. And as mentioned in an earlier slide, starting now and using the peso cost average has its benefits. So open your account and start early today. Again, First MetroSec wants everyone here to achieve their life goals by saving and investing as early as possible. So we hope that you do something that your future self will thank you for. Here are our contact details. Please visit our website. Please visit our community on Facebook. Please take note of the email addresses here to open an account. You may email account opening at firstmetrosec.com.ph to get in touch with our team for any account related requests. You may email customer service, or if you'd like to know more and get in touch with me, here's my email, mtarog at firstmetrosec.com.ph, and my cell phone number is 0917 550-7207. The best way to reach me is through text or Viber. Okay, thank you. And again, lastly, this is Marco from First MetroSec saying thank you for joining us. And you only need one. Okay, thank you very much for your time.